Welcome to the I Hate Critics Movie Review Podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. With me is Jeff.
Hey, hello.
Jeff, where do people find your art?
JeffLassiter.com. If you're on Instagram, Jeff Lassiter Pop Cult. I've been posting some new stuff. I just did a new Halloween 3-piece.
Very nice.
Which is one of my favorites of the Halloween series. And if you don't like it, you can kindly eat my ass.
Who could resist?
I don't know why I said that.
Who could resist the sex appeal of Tom Atkins?
Apparently not a single woman in Hollywood that he's co-stars with, because he fucks so much.
That is good to know. I love the ending of Halloween 3 at the very least.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The ending's terrific. And of course, the jingle. I mean, I got issues with the jingle for Halloween 3 because my brother tortured me with that jingle. Like, he makes me watch the movie, and then he just would just find ways to play the jingle off of a cassette tape that he made.
You deserved it. You were a bad kid.
I was a great kid. I deserved none of that.
I know.
But hey, since I mentioned that, I do have a new piece up at Vocal on my Vocal page, vocal.media, Sean Patrick. I wrote about my older brother, Kevin. I wrote a piece about about that quintessential thing that most older brothers, not all, because I don't think you ever did this, but most older brothers have this thing where they get put in charge of picking up their younger sibling somewhere once they have the ability to drive. And they do this thing where they go let you in the car, and then they lock the door, and then they pull up a couple feet, and then you have to go back to the car, and then they pull up again. Yeah.
My younger brother did that to me a couple times when he picked me up. Something.
Yeah. Most of the time, though, stereotypically speaking, it's the older brothers who do stuff like that. Yeah. And it's kind of a universal experience, and I wanted to kind of capture that universal experience. So that's up on my Vocal page if you want to read that. Just before the show, we were talking about today, Teri Garr passed away. The star, for me at least, of One from the Heart, which is a movie a gift that was given to me earlier this year when I got a chance to see that for the first time and fall in love with that movie and really kind of just kind of see her in a way that I'd never seen her before. She'd always been this kind of mom-like figure because, obviously from Mr. Mom, she has that kind of vibe, and she was Phoebe's mom. And I mean, I did remember her, of course, from Young Frankenstein a little bit, but she just always seemed like a mom actress to me until I saw, then I saw One from the Heart, and it's like, she was an incredible woman, just absolutely insanely gorgeous when she was in the right role. And One from the Heart is an unendingly sexy movie.
She was literally in some of my favorite comedies, especially. Mm-hmm. She was in Ghost World as Maxine, not Maxine Minx. Although that would have been really funny if her last name had been Minx and that's what they named it after. But I mean, obviously, we're Young Frankenstein. You got to say it the right way, I mean, I think that's probably what she'll be best remembered for.
Probably, although Mr. Mom is what was trending on Twitter today.
Oh, was it? I haven't been on there. I've been trying to delete my account for over a week, and they will not let me.
I am staying on Elon's stupid platform just so I can continue to call it Twitter. Because I know that psychically he takes a little damage every time you call it Twitter.
Oh, good. You saw the rally the other day where Stephen Miller, the ghoul of Galesburg, said, America is for Americans only. And then they had Melania Trump and Elon Musk talk. And they want to do away with naturalized citizens, so that's one way to get a divorce.
God, isn't that like what King Henry did? Like,
pretty much. Okay, back to Teri Garr. Sorry. Do you remember a TV movie called Stranger in the Family?
No, not even a little bit.
Oh, okay. Neil Patrick Harris plays her son. It is unhinged. It's on Tubi. You should watch it.
Okay.
Um,
I'm probably
that
not
was
going
yeah
to,
that.
but
Well, of course not. That'll be our classic next week. Just kidding. No TV movies from this 80s.
No, it sounds hilarious.
I mean, After Hours is like we just recently watched that last fall, and having never seen that before and seeing her in it, that's probably like in my top 3 of her roles.
Yeah, that one's right there with One from the Heart for sure.
Yeah, she's
for me
so good in that movie.
Again, I feel like the only person who likes One from the Heart, so I gotta throw that in whenever
I have not seen it, so I've never seen it, so you'll have to like.
You've got to see it. Everybody needs to see that movie.
But like Close Encounters, everybody remembers her for comedy, but she was really good in Close Encounters.
Well, she's kind of forgotten from that one, I think.
Yeah.
A bit overshadowed by everything else that's happening in that movie. She's kind of got a thankless role in that film, which kind of contributes to kind of the mom image she has. With me anyway. So yeah, that's but I mean, we could sit here and name Teri Garr roles for a while, I bet, because she was in a lot of things and she did a lot of stuff.
Exactly. She started off as a background dancer in Elvis movies.
Never really got her due. You never heard about her getting talked about for awards pretty much ever.
I mean, she got nominated for an Oscar, but, just never got it. I really wish she had because she deserved it.
Yeah. So there you go. So sad to say, Teri Garr has passed away today. Let's see. Nothing much else really in terms of topics. So let's just get on to the new movies. I know, Jeff, you're just dying to talk about Venom, The Last Dance.
I hope it is. Jesus.
Venom: The Last Dance stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock once again, and the voice of Venom, the alien symbiote inside of Eddie Brock. This time they start the story in Mexico where they'd left it off last time, and they're trying to get back to America. They want to go to New York City, but then they get attacked by aliens, and a stupid plot unfolds here. That really is just a nonsense plot, and really any of the charm that was left from the previous 2 movies is kind of dimmed. I did kind of admire the Venom Eddie dynamic. I still kind of like Tom Hardy's performance as Eddie Brock because it's just not a typical superhero performance. He's definitely got his own energy, which is a welcome thing. Considering that every other superhero movie feels exactly the same, he's got a completely different energy, and I do appreciate that. But again, I think that's absent from this film, and I think most of the good from the previous 2 movies, I didn't really like Venom 1, but I didn't mind Let There Be Carnage. I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I just didn't find any of that charm here. And I really just kept getting caught up on stupid details, like this whole thing about a codex that's inside the Venom Eddie thing. Mm-hmm. It was like formed when Eddie died and Venom saved him. And that triggers this character named Null, Andy Serkis, who sends these aliens down to Earth to retrieve the codex. But you can only see the codex when Venom is in his full form. So they stay out of their full form until, hey, let's just fucking dance to fucking ABBA in the middle of this fucking thing and just give away where we are. Because I don't know what it furthers the plot. I don't know. That was really stupid.
So I gotta say that part when I watched it in the trailer, I didn't realize it was Mrs. Chen. I thought it was Annie Potts, and I was like watching the trailer, just kind of watching it, not really watching. I'm like, what in the hell is Annie Potts doing in a Venom movie? And then I watched the new one, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, okay. They randomly shoehorned this random character from the first 2 movies into this one.
Yeah.
On top of which they've added a whole host of characters in what is supposed to be the last Venom movie. Like, why are you introducing these characters now? Why are we getting Juno Temple and Chiwetel Ejiofor now? Why are we getting like 7 new symbiotes now? This is the last Venom movie with Tom Hardy. And I realize I probably got to keep the character going. I think that's what Juno Temple was supposed to be part of, is keeping this character, keeping the symbiote character, I guess, alive. But what, you can't introduce this many new characters in what you're calling the last dance.
Yeah. And can I just say that if Juno Temple is Venom going forward, I'm not going to be on those shows because she just sets my teeth on edge.
What the hell? You just don't like her?
There's something about her in this movie that I'm like, okay, there are very she's got this, her voice doesn't, I don't know, it just drives me nuts. I hated everything about this movie. I liked the first Venom a lot. Mm-hmm. I didn't think I would, but I ended up really liking it. And the second one, not so much, but still better than this. I sat there watching it just bored. And it was so hard to follow. The plot, what there is of it, doesn't really make any sense. It could have been, it should have been a much better movie based on the last two. Tom Hardy's accent keeps going in and out, like even more so than in the other ones, to the point where there were times when I was like, is he like acting with mashed potatoes in his mouth? I don't know. It just Rhys Ifans was just unrecognizable. And
why are you here? Why are these characters here? Why are we spending all this time with this family that's going to Area 51? Why do we give a fuck? Why are they so integral to the plot? It's just so needless and so distracting from everything else. This movie doesn't need to be nearly as long as it is, and adding these characters adds nothing to the movie.
Well, and I looked at the cast before towards the beginning as I was watching. I'm like, oh, Alana Ubach is in it, and she was great in Legally Blonde and Legally Blonde 2.
Oh yeah,
and especially good in the Legally Blonde 2 commentary, which is the only way to watch that movie. It's her and Jennifer Coolidge and the blonde girl whose name is escaping me right now. But anyway, yeah, I was just like, oh, I was so excited to see her. And then she's the wife who just, you see her face a lot. She doesn't even really do anything.
No.
And she's so funny. So
just so needless. Just so needless. There's you cannot, if you're a Venom fan, try and justify why these characters are here. Go ahead, give it to me, because you're not going to be able to do it. They don't need to exist. Then you've got this just awful, ineffectual villain, this Null that doesn't even leave its planet. It doesn't even like face off against Venom or the symbiotes. It's like this would be like having the secondary villains fight the main good guy. And it's like, what are you doing? Why did you even bother introducing this character? Like, it's so lame. And apparently they want to make this guy like the big bad of Sony's Marvel universe. So it's like, nah, I don't think so. He's so easily defeated. It's really dumb. This movie's just not good. And I mean, I try to find things I like. Like, I do still kind of like Venom's, childlike wonder at the human world, like when he's bartending or he gets to play a slot machine. I enjoy the enthusiasm of the Venom symbiote character. That's kind of fun, but that fun is too little, too late. It's just not enough of it because we're spending time with this stupid family we don't need. And yeah, the underground facility Area 51 is just kind of useless. It doesn't really, I guess that, again, that's probably lore for future films in their minds, but no, please, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Just Sony, just stop. You're just embarrassing yourselves now.
I mean, honestly, everybody's bitching about Marvel, getting away from what they always have done, and I would rather see all the Sony stuff go to Marvel. Just stay with Marvel. Especially after watching Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, that was done so well, and like, why couldn't you have a Venom that shows up there instead? I think Sony is trying so hard to build this world that everybody knows is second tier, compared to like the MCU.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the MCU we have at home.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to watch the MCU. We have MCU at home, and it is Sony.
It's Venom, like Morbius, and Madam Web.
Oh God!
I gotta say this though. I wouldn't mind. Like, I would be very entertained by the idea of Sony like, no, we're making a movie where we're putting Madam Web and Morbius and Venom in the movie together, and you're gonna go see it, damn it. And you know what? I would go see that. I totally would.
I probably would too.
Just for the train wreck quality of it.
After watching this and Madam Web and, like you said, Morbius, I am not excited at all about seeing Kraven the Hunter. And he has one of my favorite designs in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I have no interest. The trailers are not good. It's just everything you've ever seen of a superhero before. There's just nothing remotely interesting about Aaron Taylor Johnson, other than I guess he's really well built. Good for him. So is every other guy who's starred in a superhero film. Congratulations. I don't understand what it is that I'm supposed to find so appealing about Kraven the Hunter.
If it was in a Spider-Man movie, cool. I don't need a movie of him by himself.
Like, oh my gosh, he's got daddy issues and he hunts people and he's strong. I've never seen that in a character before, ever.
Look, unless Aaron Taylor Johnson is whipping out his prodigious hog, which he did in A Million Little Pieces, I'm not interested. I don't care.
I think he's good. Like, he was good in Bullet Train. Like, he was fun in that movie, but Kraven doesn't look like it's any fun.
So it has Aaron Taylor Johnson, it has Ariana DeBose, and it has Christopher Abbott and Fred Hetchinger, however you say his name. All people I really liked in recent movies, but it just looks so middle of the road. But again, that's all Sony.
Yeah. How done am I with this whole Sony MCU version? I didn't even stay for the post-credit scenes. I just got up and left.
Yeah.
Did you bother?
Nope. Nope. Couldn't tell you what they were.
So I read about it later, just for the show, that apparently one of them was Null, like plotting revenge, setting up Null to, I guess, return in a different franchise, whatever. Who cares? And then I guess there was another one where there's like maybe a piece of Venom that was still on Earth, I guess. So maybe the Venom symbiote can find a new host. Maybe, I don't know. The only thing that the only thing that appears to be done is Tom Hardy. He is definitely not coming back. He is not doing another Venom movie, and good for him. Go do something else, man.
Yeah. Just please stop.
Not the bike riders, but
oh yeah, God, you gotta bring that up again, don't you? I listened to the Mark Maron podcast with Robert Patrick, and they were talking about how much they loved her accent, how great she was, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not completely annoying like an SNL skit or nothing. Sorry.
Jim's very triggered by the bike riders.
Just this stereotypical accent, because not really anybody talks like that in Chicago.
Not any human being really talks like that.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you, George Wendt?
Are you doing a comedy performance? Because this is supposed to be a really dramatic movie. And I love Jodie Comer. She's amazing, but that's terrible. It's just, nobody wanted to say it. Nobody wants to say it. It was awful.
It really was.
Kind of like
like Tom Hardy's accent. Could you imagine if he was like, if he did Venom as a Chicago? Oh yeah, come on, Eddie, let's go. We gotta go to the we gotta go get some pizza down at Pizzeria Yono, y'all.
Oh my God, this fucking movie. I liked the idea behind the dance scene, but it undermines the entire plot of everything you just told us that you can't do, you're now doing for no good reason. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why did you set up this stupid plot just to upend it for no good reason?
Just do that at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, have a dream sequence or something at the beginning. I don't know. If you want to do this big dance sequence, then make it a dream. Make it one of Venom's fantasies or something, How
about you just start the movie in Las Vegas? I mean, what did you even accomplish in Mexico? Or even, on the road to Las Vegas? What did you accomplish in that created the rest of the movie, that created interest in the rest of the movie? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, other than, I guess, maybe the action scene. But you can still do that action scene with the army finding out where Venom is and chasing him down and getting caught by the invading alien, that chase through the river. That's not bad. That's not bad. You can still do that. But you don't need everything else around it.
100% agree.
I was trying to be as kind as possible when I was writing about this. I don't know why. I guess because I like Tom Hardy so much, and I do like like I said, I like the Venom character, aspects of the Venom character I kind of like. But there's so much other bullshit. Now that you mention it, your hatred for this has kind of let loose the floodgates for me on this. Like, I start thinking about other shit, like, Juno Temple's needless backstory about getting struck by lightning. What did that have to do with anything?
Exactly.
Why did we need to know that for the movie that's coming out? What, in 2027? I don't know. No, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, just do that later,
And now, tell me that movie's coming out, and then maybe I'm interested. Like, tell me that movie is happening, and okay, then I need to note that for the future, maybe. But they've not even confirmed that is actually going to be a thing.
Well, and after this one, I can't imagine they'd want to.
Well, now wait, but this movie made money. It made over $50 million over the weekend. It certainly made more money than Madam Web and Morbius. It's the only piece of this universe they still have, other than Craven, and God knows what's going to happen with that. This movie is it's junk. You know what it is? It's junk. Like, I don't want to dismiss it and say it's terrible, because again, I think the Venom character is well realized. I think it has been for 3 movies. But and I do like Tom Hardy's performance, so I can't dismiss this movie entirely, but mostly it's just junk. It is junk. It's a junk movie.
Yeah, and it's disappointing because I liked the first 2 enough, and there are seeds of a decent movie here, but they just seeds.
Yeah, that first movie got on my nerves, though. Like, the only thing I really remember from the first Venom is Turd in the Wind, and I really hate that a lot. I really, really hate that a lot. Ugh. But I again, I thought the character was incredibly well realized in 2. I didn't even think Carnage, like, I don't think that's a great movie or anything, but I did enjoy the characterizations in that movie, and Woody Harrelson's performance is so weird. Like, it's the anti-comic book movie performance.
Yeah, very, very on brand for him.
Yeah, exactly. I want a really wacky haircut and a weird accent.
Okay. Then I'll do it.
And then I'll make your movie. Well, I mean, we want to hire Woody Harrelson. I guess we have to let him do it.
Yeah, it's like getting Brando, except not as good.
For this scene, I won't be wearing pants. Marlon, what do you mean? We got it's a standing shot. We got a shot where we could. No. I'm not wearing pants. Actual thing he did on the score.
Yeah.
With Robert De Niro and Ed Norton. He didn't want to be shot. He didn't want to be shot anything other than his face. So he just showed up on set not wearing pants. Like a fucking boss. All right, let's talk about Conclave. The other big new movie of the weekend stars Ralph Fiennes as Cardinal Lawrence. He is the dean of the College of Cardinals, and he is going to be in charge of choosing the new pope after the pope dies. He's got to manage a lot of personalities here, a lot of factions within the College of Cardinals who would like to elect their guy as the next pope, and he's got to manage a lot of different things, including a lot of potential scandals that seem to be coming from pretty much everywhere. This is such a good movie in so many ways, Jeff. Until the end, I thought that ending was bad, and I will
agreed.
I really do, but everything up to that is very, very clever. It's very, very well put together. I really like what Ralph Fiennes is doing. I like the idea that there is so much politics within this, because obviously I think there would be, and I think there has been throughout history. I think everybody doesn't want to talk about it, but it's true that there are conservative and liberal factions of the Cardinal College of Cardinals. There's also the geographical ones. There's groups that don't want Americans to ever be pope. You've got the Italians who haven't been pope in a long time who would like to have their own pope. That kind of stuff is interesting, and I think there's so many good ideas in there. There's a thing about a pope who seems to be maybe the front runner to become the first ever African pope, but he's got a lot of problematic baggage. He's basically said that homosexuals should die. But
as a homosexual, I mean, he's not wrong.
But he's also liberally economic liberal or whatever the fucking bullshit that was. Like I say, he's a compromised candidate who's getting the most votes until he's set up by someone else. You've got John Lithgow, who his character may or may not have been fired by the Pope just before he died, but there was nobody there to really document that. Unless there was somebody who documented that.
The world may never know, except we know.
Except we know. Seems like anytime someone steps forward to be the front runner to become the next pope, something happens. And then you have this one character who arrives just kind of out of nowhere, this Cardinal Benitez, who is this very quiet, very shy guy. Who was appointed as a cardinal by the Pope in secret because he was being sent to Kabul, which obviously you don't want to tell everybody that you have a Catholic cardinal in Kabul. That won't go well for him. So it makes sense that the Pope would keep that quiet. That said, he kept it so quiet that nobody knows who this guy is when he shows up.
I mean, at that point, you kind of just cede the territory,
Maybe don't send your Catholic cardinal to Kabul. I don't know. Maybe just let them have their religion. I don't know.
Colonialists.
But this Cardinal Benitez, like, he didn't. I wasn't really fooled for a second. I just kind of I was fooled by the ending, but then everybody has to be. There's no possible way you could predict how this movie ends.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking random. But yeah,
really,
it's so fucking random. He emerges obviously this is going to be the guy. Like he just immediately he's going to be the guy. For some reason, nobody knows who he is, but he gets votes in the first round of voting for the new pope. Like suddenly he gets a vote for that. Like, where'd that come from? How?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is, but he's got a vote. Fine. And that keeps happening throughout the votes. He keeps getting even more votes as he goes along, and emerges as this sort of secret power player. But he's got a very big secret, and I guess we should tell people that we're going to get into spoilers, because it's the only way to talk about the fatal flaw of this film is to talk about spoilers. He's got a secret that Jeff, I didn't feel like they laid in well enough to earn the twist that they use here.
Unearned.
That's what it felt like to me. Is they didn't do enough to. I know what they're going for. Like, I know the edgy kind of thing that they're going for, but they're not interested in either engaging with the ideas that they're going to introduce with this ending, because the movie ends on this note, leaving the complicated, consequences of this to us to take home with us, which I guess is bold in a way, but also kind of a cop out, because you don't have to actually dramatize what might happen if this happened. So I think that's kind of cowardly, honestly. But then you've got this sort of like the edgy sort of thing that they're going for is aha, this is exactly what the church deserves.
I'm a lapsed Catholic. I'm an atheist at this point, and I grew up in the Catholic Church, as did you, kind of, and
I got out fast.
Just yeah, you got out before I did. And yeah, they do deserve what they got, but this is a thing. Okay, so there should have been. I think that Lawrence should have known it the whole movie, and he should have been the only one who knew it. And at the end, when Benitez is made Pope, can say, "So, why were you trying to get a hysterectomy, Father?" Something like that. Just it didn't earn it at all. Like, you find out in the last 5 minutes of the movie that Father Benitez went for a radical appointment, but you don't find out what until right at the end, and it's like it just does not jibe for me.
He was born with both male and female sexual organs is the big secret. That's the big twist of Conclave, and there's literally nothing to prepare you for that. Just literally nothing. Like, I was sitting there expecting, like, okay, he's going to find out that this Pope is about to die from, some sort of disease or something, because that's the only thing that would make sense at this point. And then, like, Lawrence will become Pope, by extension or something. Like, that's how it happens that Lawrence ends up being Pope. And I thought, okay, I guess that makes sense. And then they spring this on you, and it's like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah. And it's not even like, oh, what are the implications anymore? It's, you're just in shock, and you have nothing to get you past it before the credits start rolling. So what's the point of being all, ooh, look how edgy we are?
Exactly. But also, like, I think they tried to seed in some things here, to not necessarily tell us this was going to happen, but at the very least, give it some sort of deeper meaning. Like, I do think that there's like, somebody points out something about women in the church and how, they're in favor of letting women become higher ranking members of the church or something like that. And then you've got there's a terrorist attack that occurs later in the movie, and this hardcore right-wing conservative Pope candidate stands up and starts screaming about Islam. He has no idea who did this, but he starts screaming about Islam and how, this is their fault. They did this. They're attacking us, and we need to attack them right back. And just all the right-wing talking points. He's pretty much just a scarecrow. And then you've got this character, Benitez, stands up, and I don't know why is this maybe just me overthinking this, but we tend to code his type of delivery here as feminine, because he's calling for everybody to remain calm and to be kind and compassionate and more understanding. And maybe if we were more understanding, maybe things like this wouldn't happen. And I guess that is a kind of a feminine coded idea, because, men, war, and women, no war, no war. If you want to just get to the dumbest kind of, like the most simplistic way of defining people, that's what you get right in that moment. And then to have him revealed to have, to have female genitalia and male genitalia later on, like, aha, he was kind of a woman. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like a cop out too.
Yeah,
in a way, because at first you're like, oh, is he trans, or is he intersex, or what? And they kind of lead you to believe at first that he's just a trans man. But then, just the way they kind of explain it, it's, oh, you're intersex. Okay. But
oh no, don't worry, guys. He's still got a dick. It's okay. He still has a dick.
Yeah, just unearned ending. But other than that, a very, very, very good movie. I mean, it was certainly a journey. There was like
that's what's so annoying about this edgelord ending is like, because I'm all for sticking it to the church. I don't like the church. I'll be the guy who say that. I don't like the church. Stick it to them. Cool. But earn that. There's something you could have earned that ending. You could have seeded something to get to the ending that you wanted to get to make the point that you want to make about the ingrained traditionalism of the church continues to hold it back from being what it could be. Yes, absolutely. I don't think that's anything that anyone could actually argue with. That's absolutely true.
Well, even when Stanley Tucci was talking about how he supports the gays, as he kept saying,
yeah,
why couldn't he say, gays, lesbians, transgender people, intersex people? I support all of them. But, and that could have just dropped a slight clue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Make it an actual challenge to these characters, because we don't get to see them react to this. We don't get to see them learn about this. Like, this isn't a challenge to any of them. This is a challenge just to us.
Well, and the look on Stanley Tucci's face, if he found out, would have been priceless.
Yeah, could you imagine that the Italian guy just kind of losing his shit over that?
That would have been worth it.
But this movie doesn't have the courage to deal with the aftermath of it. It just wants to throw a grenade in the room and walk away. And that's just cowardly, honestly. On top of this just being random, just tacked in here, like we need an ending that's going to surprise people.
And you know what? It was kind of like the ending of Sleepaway Camp. Surprise! Angela's a boy. Surprise! Benitez has both parts.
Oh man, yeah. It's a great taunt to the church, to have a pope who is intersex. Like that's a taunt to the church in an interesting way, but that's pretty much all it is when you frame it this way and you introduce it at just the very last second as your ending. That's all it is a taunt. Yeah. It lacks any kind of bite when you don't have anything to back it up, and this movie doesn't have anything to back it up. But what do we know? Most people like this movie, so whatever.
Oh, like I said, I really liked it up until that Sleepaway Camp ending. That, you know what? I should do one of those. You know how they have the what is it? It's like 4 panels, and it's spoilers, non-spoilery spoilers for X movie. That's what it should be for Conclave. It should just be like, a dead pope, and then a couple other things, and then Angela from Sleepaway Camp.
I want you to make a painting of Father Benitez in his full pope outfit, but he's doing Angela's face from the end of Sleepaway Camp.
would be awesome.
That's a great one. I would love that. I'd buy a T-shirt with that on it.
Well, I would only get $2 for a T-shirt, and that's
Ah,
not worth it.
bummer.
That's only if it's not on sale.
So that's Conclave. It's so good for so long, and then just totally not good at the end.
Yeah, the ending is just concave.
Ah, all right. One final movie to talk about this week. Is it called Your Monster?
Yes.
Your Monster, starring Melissa Barrera and Tommy Dewey. Melissa Barrera plays a woman who is recovering from cancer. She is just coming out of the hospital. Just as she's coming out of the hospital, her boyfriend of several years breaks up with her, leaving her completely devastated. The cancer is just too much for him. He's got to get out. He's a total pussy. Screw that guy. She ends up going to stay at her mom's house. Her mom is absent, a kind of a rich woman who roaming around the world, and she just leaves her kid some baked goods and a little cash to get by. So she's all alone in this house. Her friend is Maisie is around, but not. She says she's going to be there, but she's not really. And there's a very obvious reason why coming later. You saw that coming from a mile away, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She ends up staying at her mom's house, and this is where the monster comes in. Tommy Dewey is the monster. He's been living in the closet of her childhood bedroom for years, and he emerges here to try and get her to leave. He wants her gone so he can have the house back to himself. But of course, this is really just setting up a very unusual romance between the two of them. That leads to an ending that is much like Conclave, very divisive and daring, bold, interesting. Not quite what I was wanting for sure, but what did you think of Your Monster?
I was kind of bored by it for the first part.
Mm-hmm.
I full disclosure, I showed up about 7 or 8 minutes late. Just because I was working and I got caught at work a little late. Was kind of bored by it until Tommy Dewey showed up. And he just kind of, I like Melissa Barrera as an actor, aside from Scream 5.
Mm-hmm.
But he just lit up the screen, even under all that makeup. And I remember him from the Mindy Project. He was on a bunch of episodes there. And he's just got a presence to him that it's like, I wanted more of him, and he disappears for big stretches of the movie. Like I said, I was kind of bored. I was kind of getting into it. I was more into it when she started to find her voice and her power a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when she went off on what's his face, I was like, oh, okay, I'm really into this. I really like this. And then there was not really any payoff for that, except she gets fired, and then the whole movie deflates again.
Yeah.
And then that ending, it was so contrived. First of all, Jackie Dennon, the star of this show, is just going to let her walk on, and they're all in on it, except for Jacob, the director. It just didn't. How is he not going to catch wind of that? First of all,
no,
especially since he's fucking Maisie.
Yeah,
she's going to find out.
Well, yeah, she finds out right away and does nothing about it. It's a wild ending. I do want to touch on a couple of things. Like Tommy Dewey is awesome in this movie. He was just in Saturday Night, where he played Michael O'Donoghue, and he was great in just a couple of moments in that movie that he was allowed to shine. And I got a shout out a movie called She's in Portland from 2020. It came out during the pandemic, so most people did not see it, including most critics didn't see it. But I compared it to Sideways. That's how good I think that movie is.
Oh, wow.
So check that out. Tommy Dewey's awesome, and I thought he was great here. Now, I have an interesting question for you. Do you think the monster is real?
I thought about that a couple times. I'm like, is it just a part of her psyche that's like telling her she can do this? or is it real? And I came to the conclusion at the end of it that it was not real, that it was just giving her permission um to like do the things that she really, really wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's real either. I don't think it was. I think that's just her imagination. I think she created the monster as a sort of a living form of her own kind of her own psyche. You know, all the things that she just various different portions of her personality kind of being expressed via that character, and you can sense that she's kind of learning to like and potentially love herself via the monster, which is kind of the whole point, I guess, of the movie. And then I think the thing that does signal it finally is that as Jacob, the ex-boyfriend, the director of the play that she's in, he comes out on stage and is yelling at her, and just as he's doing that, she snaps a ruler in half, and that is the indication that she's actually the one who is going to kill him, and not the monster. I had to say, I was kind of impressed by the staging of that, the staging of that whole scene. I thought was pretty terrific. Her doing the entire song with his body laying there. I thought that was almost kind of it was kind of giving me vibes of oh gosh, Mia Goth, Pearl. Yes, it was giving me a little bit of a Pearl vibe, which I really did like very much. I loved her read when she goes, "Monster, you're back." I did love that. Her energy in that moment, and then the way she performs the song and the look on her face as the horror begins to overcome the audience as they realize this isn't part of the show.
It was like that scene in The Substance. That's what it reminded me of.
Stop bringing up The Substance, damn it. Stop bringing up the best movie of the year. That the whole staging of that I thought was pretty terrific. I kind of wanted more of Tommy Dewey, so I kind of wanted him to be real. And I wanted their relationship to actually kind of happen. So I was kind of hoping for, more of a magical, romantic, happy ending where she blows the audience away and makes Jacob look foolish with her talent, as opposed to just her just fucking gutting him in the throat.
Yeah, this movie was pretty predictable in some ways, and that was one of them. When she started the musical number and stops in the middle of it, and then he comes in and they start fighting, I'm like, oh, as soon as they stop in the middle of it, I'm like, something's gonna happen to him. And then when she starts singing again, she's got blood all over him. I'm like, they're gonna pan out, and it's gonna be his body's gonna be laying there on the floor. And instead of, there was a part of me that thought, okay, she's covered in blood, but maybe that's part of the staging. Maybe they cut to a scene in the play where she killed somebody or something. And that's why she's in this reform school. But no, she ripped his throat out like she said she was going to. And
throat ripping is mentioned multiple times leading up to it as a kind of a way to prepare you for the idea. The monster says he's going to tear her throat out. She tells Jacob she's going to tear his throat out, and then she does it. The rule of three plays out as it's supposed to.
Yeah, I hated the ending. Although I will say, one of the things that I like about Melissa Barrera is how talented she is at singing and dancing in a Broadway setting like that. I was really into that song actually, and I kind of didn't like it when I first started. At the rehearsal and stuff, I was like, this is kind of stupid. But once she is on there and she's singing it and it's fully staged, I was like, oh, she's actually amazing in it. And then cut to, he's dead.
Yeah.
I didn't like her, she's obviously going crazy throughout this whole thing. And I didn't like that because I didn't like the ending because it showed you that, okay, yeah, monster's not real. She's psychotic and she just killed somebody on stage. So there's no hope for her whatsoever.
I think this is a better movie than Smile 2, Jeff. I do.
I just got that. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. But we see her going crazy in Smile 2.
I do. I like this movie more than you do. I like enough of it to recommend it, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I was bored. I was really, really into it. I was really into it. Then I was kind of bored again, and then I was like, oh, it's over, and so is she.
All right, let's talk about our classic this week, which is called Agnes of God. It's from 1985, and it stars Jane Fonda as a psychiatrist who's tasked with becoming a police officer, apparently, investigating the murder of a baby that may be the child of God. Who knows? Who's the young girl?
Meg Tilly.
Meg Tilly plays the brain damaged young nun. Oh, I'm sorry, no, she's very young and naive, not brain damaged. Although that final shot of her in the movie where she's playing with the birds, I'm kind of wondering, maybe she did get dropped on her head.
Well, she was severely abused. So,
Anne Bancroft is the Mother Superior, the head of the whatever you call the place where the nuns are. I found this movie tedious. I found this movie to be kind of idiotic at times, and I really just came away with just the one thing that just kept sticking with me was just, why is there so much smoking? Why must everyone have a cigarette? Why must Jane Fonda just desperately addicted to cigarettes? Like, why is that the main takeaway for me from this movie? Because it's like the only character trait she has, other than being one of the worst psychiatrists ever. That is another trait I should point out. Worst psychiatrist ever. I would say never a good thing when your psychiatrist says, I love you. Just never a good thing. That's not good. They should never do that. Never do that. She's awful. She's just awful.
I was thinking, okay, for a classic, there's a movie about Catholic cardinals. Let's do something with Catholic nuns. And boy, aside from the last scene where she's explaining what's going on, like what happened, because basically she just killed her baby, and they're trying to figure out why or how or whose baby it was or whatever. And until she gets the stigmata and she's covered in blood, which I thought was a great visual, I was just kind of like, oh my God. Oh God, was the play this bad? Because it was based on a play, apparently.
Yeah. And
it felt very much like a play.
Yeah. Lots of speechifying, lots of grandstanding, and all of it in effort to nothing. The idea here is that this young nun gave birth to a baby, then maybe not, she killed the baby that same night. There are some who want to put her on trial for murdering the baby, but Jane Fonda, who is assigned as her psychiatrist to determine whether she's of sound mind to be tried, kind of starts her own investigation. Really asks like a cop. Why didn't just make her a cop or a reporter to make it make more sense? I don't know, but she begins to investigate, and she determines that she was probably raped and killed the baby because of that, and she's too naive to understand what happened to her, and blah blah blah. Yeah, this is so bad. It's almost irredeemably bad. I don't know what Norman Jewison was going for here. Poor Anne Bancroft just looks like she's psychotic. Like just one scene, her and Jane Fonda are sitting around like girlfriends, holding hands and bonding over what kind of cigarettes saints would smoke. The next scene, she's barging into Jane Fonda's office, going, "I want you off this case."
Yeah,
it's like, where the fuck did that come from? What? What do you mean? And
literally,
she's all she has to say. I was in the room. I left the room. I came back. The baby was dead. Like, that's it. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
There was no reason for her to hide any of that.
Well, we wouldn't have a whole 90-minute movie if it wasn't. and I'm fine with that.
I would be very happy if this movie had never been made.
I mean, it was like some of the acting was done well. I thought, Meg Tilly in her ecstatic moment at the end, I thought, she was good.
But that's a weird moment too, though. Like, she gets the stigmata, right? Like, blood is leaking from her hands, and Jane Fonda's not like, oh wow, I guess God exists. That's crazy. Instead, she just persists in her idea of trying to figure out who raped her, and it's like, she's literally suffering from the stigmata right in front of you, girl.
But she does say a line earlier, that stuff like that can happen spontaneously if people are having a psychotic break and they believe it enough, which I don't know if I believe that or not, but that I feel like that could have gone either way.
Very silly. But yeah, it's a very silly movie. It's a very silly movie that thinks it's a very serious movie.
Was probably better as a play.
I would imagine so. I can only imagine, because it made it as far as it did as a play to be adapted into a Hollywood movie. So there must have been something to it, something more than what's in this movie. You've got three really talented women in service of a very dumb plot.
Yeah.
Just commit one way or the other too. Just commit either, I don't think the movie is necessarily not committing to the idea that she was raped, but like, just trying, it like seems to want to have it both ways, that maybe this was divine intervention, maybe it was a rape. I don't know.
But a lot of plays in like the 70s and 80s did that kind of thing. They brought up these big questions, and I feel like this one was trying to do that. And like I said, it was probably better on stage, but it was just not, it was too stagey for a movie. To the point where I could, in Doubt, like when you watch Doubt, it's so cinematic, the way it's shot and everything. And then you couldn't even imagine it as a play. Mm-hmm. It's not staged like a play. And this is exactly the opposite of it.
Yeah, it's poorly executed. They really want to just film these monologues, and they don't have any connective tissue to make it an actual movie.
Well,
and some of the shots are a little bit wonky. Like I said, that final shot of Meg Tilly with the bird, I kind of thought maybe she's got a little bit more brain damage than we're letting on.
Probably. And I liked her so much in Psycho 2.
Yeah.
And I thought she did it really well here, but it was just the material was not movie quality.
Well, speaking of not movie quality, looking ahead to next week, I am really not looking forward to the new Robert Zemeckis movie Here. Are you aware of this movie, Jeff?
Yeah, because I listened to him on Mark Maron.
I just, the whole conceit is just, he's just so bored as a director. Bob, if you're so bored as a director, just stop directing. I mean, honestly, if you've got to just do things to just make it interesting for yourself, just retire already. The whole gimmick is that the camera is set up in one spot the entire movie. A house gets built like it's in a field, and then you can see like Native Americans
dinosaurs,
and then dinosaurs. Like there's a whole, the whole of history happens, and this house gets built around it, and a family grows up there, and Tom Hanks and Robin Wright get married there, and it's all happening in this one space. And like I said, just if you're just done with movies, just be done with movies, man.
Also, it makes absolutely no allowance for the shifting of the plates of Pangea thing.
Well, you don't know that. You've not seen the movie. Maybe it's in there.
Well, I'm just reviewing it like all the people review Disney movies now before I see it.
Maybe it'll be great, but the trailer is really bad. The trailer is really bad. You get, and I know Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. Anytime he's wearing a wig in a movie, it's gonna be bad. Tom Hanks's wig work is it's never good. It's just never good.
Oh, it just looks schmaltzy to me from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And they show every iteration of this house in the trailer, so can we just say we saw it?
Well, then all we're left with is a Liam Neeson movie.
Well, after having to see 3 movies this week that all disappointed me in one way or the other, I'm only seeing one, and if it's going to be one movie, it's going to be here. So
yeah, all right. So yeah, we'll figure out a rest of the show later.
Well, pick a good classic, because maybe we should do a dinosaur movie.
I'm thinking of like a Zemeckis focused episode, like maybe Back to the Future and Castaway.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a theme at the very least.
We can do Back to the Future, because I'm not going to watch Castaway again. I'm just telling you that right now.
Well, we can still talk about it if you've seen it. So there you go.
Okay.
All right, Jeff. Thanks.
Have a good one.